Let's go ahead.
All right, I'll call the meeting to order. This is the Needham Board of Zoning Appeals. And as we heard now with the new technology prompt, we are being recorded and we also will be on TV. And I suppose that gives you a right to get out if you're afraid to be seen. As I said earlier, I always say, if we lose the internet and can't complete the hearings or continue till next month's hearing on September 23rd, but I think we've gone 18 or 19 months and without a hitch, the technology has worked. So the first matter is approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Unless there's a change, I'll entertain a motion to approve them.
Motion to approve?
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So case number 1, 83 Rolling Lane. Matthew Stutz and Flavia Montanare, applicants, have made application to the Board of Appeals for a special permit under section 6.11.3b, 7.5.2, and any other applicable sections of the bylaw to allow the construction of a retaining walls in excess of 4 feet in height within the side setback area of the property. Property is located at 83 Rolling Lane in the single residence A district. I'm sorry, I probably messed up your name, but welcome.
It was perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
So why don't you just give us a brief summary of what it is you want to do?
So for the record, my name is Scott Henderson. I'll be representing the client tonight. I'm the project civil engineer. Applicant you met, Flavia, is here with us. So I'm going to share my screen if that's okay.
Sure.
Can everybody see that plan?
Yes.
Cartoonish green plan. Okay. As was stated, we're here for a special permit for the construction of retaining walls in excess of 4 feet within the side yard setback of the property at 83 Rolling Lane. You can see the site here is currently improved with a single family home, a driveway. The light green areas here are yard. In the very rear of the property, the dark green is a sort of heavily wooded area. That also includes a bordering vegetated wetland to an intermittent stream located at the very north edge of the site. In general, the project proposal is this. Sorry, trying to zoom in here. All right, the shift won't work. Hold on one second.
Wow, this is great technology too. You can overlay what you're building.
Yeah, I mean, this is it sort of looks cartoonish, but it does help more than just a black and white plan. So the project in general is the construction of a pool, several terraces behind the house, including an in-ground pool, some sort of patios and supporting infrastructure here. The key component of this property is that the rear of the site from the existing house to the very low part of the yard drops about 22 to 23 feet at a 1-to-1 slope. So we're working with some challenging topography here. And so in order to make this patio and pool system work, we need to construct some retaining walls to support that. The site plans here, I'll zoom in. This is the existing conditions plan. You'll see these contours here. These are 1-foot contours. That sort of illustrates how steep it is in terms of a drop to the back of the property. And in terms of pictures, this is from the very end of the driveway and the left edge of the site. You can see how sort of abruptly that drops off. The picture doesn't do it justice. It's quite a significant slope there. So the key here is that we're constructing these 2 terraced areas, one with the in-ground pool, one that's sort of an intermediate terrace, and then a lower one in the backyard. On this plan here, the key with respect to what we're here for a special permit for under section 6.11.3 of the zoning bylaw, this hatched portion of the retaining walls at the back right corner of the developed area, these are all in excess of 4 feet. And that's within the 25-foot side yard setback for the property. So in terms of the walls themselves, we're trying to come up with a solution for doing this without impacting the neighbors. And I think the key component is limiting visibility to the abutters. So I'll go back to the pictures briefly. We're standing to the left side of the existing house. This stockade fence here, that's the abutting property. The walls, if you can follow my cursor, the walls will kind of extend this existing grade out. They'll step down and they'll extend out and step down one more time. The key is that the walls where they're located that are in excess of that 4 feet are in an area where you can see nothing. I mean, this is a picture taken before a lot of the foliage set in. You can see some of these trees are still just budding. You can't see any abutting houses here. And so we felt as though doing this, even though these walls are fairly tall, they don't impact anyone's vision in terms of you can't see it from the road, you can't see it from any of the abutting properties to the back. And the applicant did speak with the direct abutter adjacent to this, to the right-hand side. They don't have any aversion to this. As it is now, their yard is enclosed with a 6 foot tall solid stockade fence, so they won't see any of this anyway. We did submit as part of this was submitted to the design review board and also to you, some additional information. This application was sent out to all the relevant town boards. I don't think the engineer or the planning board or Board of Health or Fire had any input on this. Dave Roach did mention that he wanted to make sure that we had adequate fencing for fall protection, because some of these walls are fairly tall. In this very back corner here, the highest point, right just shy of 9 feet. We are going to enclose the entire area with fencing that meets all requirements for state building code for fall protection and for enclosure for the pool itself that's regulated by the state and the Board of Health. On the right-hand side of the property, we'll have a solid stockade fence to screen us from the neighbors. Again, they have basically the same fence that's on their property line, so it'll be plenty screened from them. And then the remainder, what's shown in blue here, will be sort of a typical pool fence. I'll scroll through this quickly. The block itself, we'll back up. We're going to use an Anchor Pro block. It's an 18-inch wide by 8-inch tall block. It's very good for sort of maneuvering in these scenarios with some corners and things like that. It's stable and it will be mechanically stabilized with engineered geogrid fabric behind it. The color that we're going to use is a fairly dark one. I can't remember the color of it off the top of my head, but something that blends in fairly well, doesn't stand out and isn't too bright, so that it's not really visible even through that thick foliage or woods behind the house. This is a retaining wall built with that exact block recently by the contractor that's going to do this work. So this is sort of representative of what it will look like. Again, it will only be visible to people standing in the backyard of this property, not to any abutters, and certainly not anybody from Rolling Lane or from the street. This will be the privacy fence, something similar to this, a solid 6 foot tall stockade, probably a white PVC fence, something of this nature. And then the remainder of the fencing around the pool will be a fabricated steel painted black. The Montage is a pretty popular one by Ameristar that people use for something like this. So that's a basic summary of the project. I can answer any questions the board might have about any specifics or anything that I didn't elaborate on. So.
Okay, well, let me note that the design review board has submitted a report to us, and they approve of your project and the materials that want to build, and they confirm the neighbors are not able to see it. As you said, the planning board had no comment. The building inspector is concerned about safety, and I think we probably ought to include a condition. You'll include fencing that he approves for safety purposes, and the rest of the departments had no comment. Why don't we see, is there anyone here, any of the neighbors who want to be heard on this? Anyone wants to be heard?
Could you turn off your screen share, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Nope, there are no hands up.
I have one question. What's the nature of the drainage, the runoff and those types of issues?
So in order to offset the increased impervious area of the patios and the pool, we have a closed drainage system that captures, treats, and routes that water to an infiltration system that's going to be proposed at the very low back of the property, the portion of the lawn that remains untouched. We're going to regrade that a bit, but it doesn't have any impact on that hydrology. This application is subject to Wetlands Protection Act filing. So we do have a notice of intent application open with the Conservation Commission. We have had 2 hearings with them. They have reviewed it, including the chairperson is a licensed professional civil engineer. She has reviewed my engineering, drainage calculations, and design, and has no aversion to it. We had a hearing last Thursday where we decided to continue just to make sure that everything went smoothly with other permitting. But the intent is to close that at the next hearing and for it to be approved. So in terms of stormwater, it's been scrutinized by another professional engineer, and we have no increase in rate or volume of runoff to the rear of the property. In fact, we have a reduction as a result of this.
Do you have to submit drainage plans to the town engineer?
No, well, not to the town engineer, but the chairperson of the Conservation Commission is a licensed professional civil engineer. She's a principal at Horsley Witten. So she just happens to be a professional that is able to put eyes on it. So she's given a thumbs up to that. So.
Okay. Has a nice look to it, nice aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, I agree. You know, we ended up with this retaining wall bylaw because some people were putting up 20-foot concrete walls right in their neighbor's backyard. And you've obviously been sensitive to all of the things that people are concerned about. John, do you have any questions?
No, just that I was hoping that the Conservation Commission would have issued the order of conditions by this hearing. I heard they were last week. So any decision would be subject to the order being issued, I presume.
I presume. And also, and as I said, I think it ought to be subject to sign off by the building inspector on the safety of the fences.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so John, why don't you make a motion to approve this?
Let's see. Motion to approve a special permit under section 6.113B, 7.52, and other applicable sections for the property at 83 Rolling Lane for the construction of retaining walls in excess of 4 feet in height within the side yard setback of the property, as shown on the plan specifications drawings filed with the application, subject to approval by the building inspector on the fencing around the pool area and issuance of an order of conditions in conformity with these plans by the Conservation Commission.
Second that?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very nice project. Good luck.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
It sounds like, is the pool built?
No.
You'll be doing that next year.
Yeah, I'll be starting that. I don't know, it depends on when scheduling allows for, but yeah, hopefully maybe later this fall if weather permits, but should be wrapped up by the spring for sure at the latest.
Good.
Congratulations. Enjoy the property.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Have a good night.
All right, so case number 2, 350 Cedar Street. ATC Watertown LLC applicant has made application with the Board of Appeals for a special permit amendment under section 6.7.7B, 7.5.2, and other applicable sections of the bylaw to allow for the replacement of a 100 kilowatt diesel backup generator with a 300 kilowatt diesel backup generator on a 7x27 concrete pad with enclosure to match existing generator on the site. Property is located at 350 Cedar Street in the single residence B district. Who's on this?
Yes, hi, good evening. My name is Dan Klasnick. I'm the attorney. I represent the applicant in regards to its proposal to modify the facility as has been read into the record at 350 Cedar Street. In accordance with your practice and procedure, we reviewed this with the building inspector, and in accordance with his instructions, we filed this application under section 6.77 to modify the facility as has already been read into the record by the chair, to really just replace one of the existing backup generators. Just by way of some more background, the applicant has also already submitted the necessary application for a license for its fuel storage, and also made a necessary filing with Mass DEP for air quality registration. So I certainly appreciate the opportunity to meet with you this evening, even if it is just remotely. So currently installed at the property is a 100 kW diesel pad mounted generator. The backup generator is connected to the building operations, and that includes the HVAC systems. Really, it's due to increased loads in the building resulting from additional equipment and modifications to existing equipment. It's necessary to upgrade the HVAC systems to ensure really that there's the the continued operation. There's a lot of electronic equipment that's maintained within the building. So this will allow and ensure that facility continues to operate in the event of a power outage. The existing 100 kW generator is just not capable of generating enough backup power to operate the HVAC systems and also the modified building operations. So in order to address this issue, American ATC Watertown, they're proposing, as I had said, to replace that 100 kW generator with a 300 kW Generac diesel generator. As noted in the notice, it's going to be located on a 7-foot wide by 27-foot long concrete pad. And it's at the same approximate location as the existing generator. And then upon installation of the 300 kW generator, the existing 100 kW generator will be removed from the property. So really, this is something that's really integral to the operations at the property, which includes broadcast towers and facilities for some major radio and television stations. They're within those existing buildings is where they maintain their electronic equipment, and it's really essential to the function of the facilities themselves. And I'm sure, and particularly in these times, we can all appreciate the importance of keeping those news outlets online in the event of a power disruption. So I think what we're doing here is, responsibly looking at the requirements and necessarily upgrading the equipment. It's really for an essential purpose as related to the operation of the facility. The proposed generator has been designed really for minimum noise and maximum sound attenuation. It includes what they call a level 2 enclosure, which offers the highest level of mitigation available by Generac. We included a sound study with our supplemental filing. We provided both ambient measurements and modeling of operations of the replacement 300 kW generator. And the statement in there really is, although this is a larger generator, the existing generator makes at least the same amount of noise, and is perhaps even louder because of the substantial mitigation measures that have been taken with that level 2 enclosure. So really, the sound study did certify that the generator will operate in compliance with all noise standards and regulations. So based upon all the information that we've provided to this board this evening, we just respectfully request approval of the special permit modification, and then the ability, I guess, to proceed forward with our building permit. Thank you very much.
This is the 5th or 6th replacement generator we've dealt with in Needham because we're blessed with many towers. And I think we've adopted a practice of putting 2 conditions. One is that after it's actually installed, you'll do a sound test and submit it to the building inspector to demonstrate that it complies with sound standards. And that Secondly, if there is a complaint filed by a neighbor in the future, that you'll go back and retest and if needed, make modifications to keep it under the applicable noise standards.
Yes, most certainly.
Okay. So does anyone on the board have a question?
Thank you for that clear presentation. It seems like the new large generator has good sound mitigation. I just want to confirm that it is in the fenced area.
Yes, it is. It's almost directly adjacent to the existing 100 kW. They have it positioned close to the electrical room itself. So yes.
Excellent. It's great how they can have bigger units that make less sound. Of course, the other sound is the on off, and that. How do you mitigate the on off when the machine just starts up?
Well, the entire operation is mitigated by that level 2 enclosure. It offers baffling and it also directs the exhaust as outlined in the South study. So that's what's in compliance. The actual operation of the generator will be, in compliance.
Okay, that also reminds me that we've imposed upon these a condition that they be tested during business hours. So somebody isn't running it at midnight for a test.
Yes, of course.
John, do you have anything on this?
No, I've seen enough of these to realize that the equipment is better, quieter, more efficient, more powerful, and removing older, louder equipment is all positive. It's already an existing location. It's already protected from prior hearings and review. So I'm supportive of the application.
Daphne, do we have anyone, any neighbors, anyone from the public who wants to be heard?
No, we do not. There's no hands raised.
All right. Does someone want to make a motion?
Sure. I move that the applicant's request for a special permit amendment under section 6.7B and 7.52 to allow the replacement of the 100 kilowatt generator, backup generator with a new 300 kilowatt backup diesel generator on a 7-foot by 27-foot concrete pad within the existing structure to match the existing generator on site at the property located at 350 Cedar Street with 3 provisos: that the applicant agree after the completion of the installation that it will conduct a sound test with an engineer and report the results to the building department. 2, if there are complaints by neighbors over time, that they timely respond to those complaints and make adjustments in the sound remediation if necessary. And 3, that the testing, the periodic testing that's done, be done during normal business hours.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Nice
Thank you
job.
for the presentation and the complete package.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate everything. And I wanted to thank Daphne as well for all of her assistance. Want to wish everyone a great rest of the summer.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, Dan.
So thank you. I'll volunteer to write the retaining wall. Who wants to write the generator?
John, you want to write it from retirement or you want me to do it? I'll give you the first pick.
You haven't written one for a while.
Yeah, I haven't written one. But, all right, I'll do one.
We can give you some samples.
Oh, I'll send you a sample.
I probably have about 500 samples of generators, but yes, no problem. Howard, take off the month of August.
Also, please, just want to make sure to announce that the meeting for September is going to be on September 23rd. Has been moved to September 23rd.
Is that a Thursday? What day is the 23rd?
It's a Thursday.
The following Thursday?
It's
So
the
quick
following Thursday.
question. So the last hearing I tried to attend was the hybrid that didn't work so well at Town Hall. And now is everything back to Zoom?
Yes, the state extended the authority.
Yeah.
So I think there's been no movement on our part or encouragement from town officials to go back to in person. So Zoom has worked amazingly well. And so I think we're on Zoom for the next year until the authority.
Next year, wow.
April 22nd, 2022.
Wow, wow.
But the other thing is we were working with cable. Cable, of course, is upgrading all the venues for the select board as well as the Charles River Room. And so we really can't go, give the full experience in person as well as, the hybrid experience until that venue is up and running as well. So I know that Mark is working really hard at it. In fact, I saw him, I think last week, he was just doing some preliminary work, but there was some budgeting issues to, purchase a new equipment so that the town hall's room as well as Charles River Room is brought up to snuff so it can be hybrid for cable as well as for Zoom. And
Hybrid is a very difficult thing unless you have tremendous equipment and that very big screen, because you're just left out. If you're not there and you're stuck on Zoom World, it doesn't work. So we'll see how that all works. But this is fine.
Well, I mean, so far, even though going past next April, so far the town has not approved authority for people to participate remotely. So all the board members who want to participate will have to be present in person. It's just that members of the public will be able to join through Zoom.
now, the other thing is the town is moving forward on hybrid. And so what they have done is they've gone ahead and purchased Owls, which will allow in person and Zoom, and those are very successful. So we're getting all the different technology to help that. And I think that if the owl will be available once we're going back in person, shall we say, and the owl will really allow the remote experience for board members if they're remote. And the ZBA does have in place the rules, and I believe the town is looking into opening that up. But it will,
Now, they're looking more favorably at adopting the rule that would let a member participate.
you guys are just very precocious. You're always ahead of the curveball.
That we learned from the pandemic. We presented that proposal right before the pandemic, and we've learned that this is a very efficient way of doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
Well, we just wanted it so somebody wouldn't have to come back from the Cape or Lakewood or Wasaki to make up a quorum.
We won't say anybody coming from the desert. We won't talk about that.
For the
Well, look, John, you were able to captain this on the very first Zoom meeting, and that was in March, and you were in Arizona for a good, 3 months during that time? Yeah,
Yeah, it was, and it works great.
it worked well.
Well, the rule will be that you'll have to be in the state, just like the remote notarizations.
I hope.
I'm only teasing.
I hope.
That's a technicality, John.
All right, I think we're done.
Yep,
Anything else?
until September, have a wonderful rest of the
Wow,
season.
wow.
May Labor Day be sunny.
And this weekend too. Nice to see everybody.
Be well,
All right,
everybody.
take
Stay
care.
safe.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you.